One of the greatest mistakes I think that we make as parents, that we make as coaches, that we make as leaders, that we make as managers, is we're constantly trying to motivate our employees. We're trying to motivate our children. We're trying to motivate our friends and our clients to become better, to achieve more, to have a better life, to become healthier. You may think, well, what's wrong with that, Chad? Why can't we motivate? Well, to motivate means to push. Motivate means I'm going to try to find a way to get you to do things that you might not want to do. And I'm going to push you, and I'm going to push you, and I'm going to rah-rah you, or I'm going to threaten you, but I'm going to try to motivate you by pushing you. The idea, though, is we know that there's two types of motivation. There's extrinsic motivation that comes from outside sources. So that's either we're either going to give you a reward or punish you, or we're going to try to motivate you from the outside. Or there's intrinsic motivation, and that's motivation that comes from within. That comes from within me, and as a leader, as a parent, I can't intrinsically motivate somebody. But what I can do is I can tap into their system of pride. And pride in oneself, pride in one's behaviors is the greatest form of intrinsic motivation. When I go and do a random act of kindness for somebody, I feel really proud about what I've just done. And that feeling releases all these chemicals in my body, and it makes me want to do more of it. So when I have pride in the behaviors I'm doing, I want to do more of them. Well, as leaders, as parents, we should be tapping into that pride system that people have. Every human being is born with the ability to have pride in their performance, pride in who they are. Some it's really layered deep down inside, and some it's right there on the surface. But instead of trying to motivate somebody, why don't we facilitate pride in their behaviors rather than try to motivate them to do things they don't want to do? It looks something like this. If my daughters want to get into a good college, my daughters want to get good grades, I can motivate them and say, hey, listen, if you don't study, you're not going to get good grades, you're not going to get into good college. I can give them a little fear response. I can push them. I can give them a rah-rah. Imagine when you go to college, it'll be great, blah, blah, blah. I can try to push them. Or I can facilitate ways for them to feel pride. Now, how do I do that? I start congratulating them. I start asking them questions on their behaviors, not their outcomes. So, for example, my daughter comes home with a great grade on her test. She gets an A. I can say, great job on the A, and what I'm saying is, hey, all I care about is that end result. Or I can say, hey, that's awesome. Tell me how you got that A. What did you do? What was the recipe for success? Well, Dad, I studied for 4 hours. I took 3 practice exams. I called a friend and we went over it together. I wrote some note cards, and she will tell me the recipe. Well, as she's telling me the recipe for her success, she is hearing herself say all the things she did to become better. As she does this, dopamine and all these great chemicals are being released in her body, and she's starting to feel this sense of pride. Wow, this is what I did. I did this, I did this, I did this. Which means on the next test, what is she going to do? She's going to repeat that again. She's going to repeat the behaviors again. So the greatest thing we can do as leaders is not just try to motivate and rah-rah people. Now, I'd like a sense of every once in a while, rah-rah. I'm a rah-rah guy. But as a leader, our job is not to motivate our employees. Our job is to facilitate ways for them to feel proud about the behaviors they're taking, not just the outcome they're getting. If you can do this, you'll tap into that intrinsic motivation, and you're teaching people how to become the best version of themselves.